I just wanted to talk a little bit about the TikTok ban because of all the serious problems we have with social media and actually it damaging our government and damaging our individual rights for the favor of like a few loud, pushy voices. And typically I use Reddit and I use Facebook just to connect with people, and I use obviously YouTube. I feel like these are okay. I mean, these social media platforms aren't really. I don't have to see a bunch of right wing stuff every day. Especially Reddit. Reddit is thought of as left leaning, but it's not left leaning in any more sense that facts reality is left leaning. There's a lot of smart people on Reddit. There's amazing minds on Reddit. The United States Supreme Court is going to possibly ban TikTok, and the reasoning being ownership, Chinese ownership. And I think 20 years ago would have been a no-brainer. It's like, yeah, it's a national security threat. We've already got so much problems with China and Russia meddling with information, so it just seems like a no-brainer. But now that they've decided to do this, to have people going over to another Chinese app called RedNote, let them go, let them waste their time. But it highlights another problem. And the problem is that typically, ownership matters, allegiance matters, but it's not going to solve the problem. It's not going to solve any major problem because everybody that's causing this damage is just going to do so through other media platforms. And so here, look at this really quick. Since 2012 to 2024, most people use social media or the internet for about 2 hours and 2.5 hours a day, and it's sort of plateaued. Okay, an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. It's plateaued. That's good, I guess, but that's a lot of time to be on these apps. And if we're facing like that fire hose of information in the face, the only thing we have is our critical thinking skills. But if we weren't paying attention in class or we don't care about critical thinking, then nothing's going to save us. It's just going to be the amount of exposure that we get is going to drive us into areas that we have no protection from because we didn't, master our critical thinking skills. Or we're not doing the research to make sure that it's valid, or we don't care if it's valid or not. We just like to hear the things we like to hear. Facebook and YouTube are the top apps, and then it kind of goes down from there. And you see, 2.9 billion active viewers on YouTube. 2.5 billion on YouTube, 2.9 billion on Facebook, and then all the way down to Twitter, which is 556 million. And I threw Blue Sky in there because I know it's way down. It's at 27 million right now, so it's like hardly anything. And here's like a screenshot of RedNote. I guess I don't want to sign up for it. I was going to sign up for it just to show you guys, but I don't want the Chinese stuff on my phone. But here's what it looks like, and it probably just translates, and it's local Chinese. So the people that are doing it are going to be like the free speech people. You can't tell me what to do, and these people have problems because we have to be able to regulate this stuff in order to keep things with our government in line and on track with democracy and with voting and making sure that we get the right information to people. There's unrestrained power consolidation right now. Capitalism is filtering upwards, and the more money you get at the top, the easier it is for the people at the top to sift the money upwards because the money does all the labor. Like people like, the billionaires these billionaires aren't working a billion times more than you, okay? It's their money that's doing the work. So the more money that goes up, the faster the money from the bottom goes up, and there's less of it for us. So the billionaires are accelerating this problem with social media, and they're using it, to eventually, I guess, population limitation and would be one thing, but it's only going to end in revolution. It's only going to end in revolution with them, and they're going to regret it eventually. It's much easier for them to destroy something than it is for the rest of us to build and maintain something. So when you say you're trying to keep these TOS on these apps, non-political and just let everybody do what they want, the side that has to build and maintain is going to lose, because the side that just destroys and lies about everything doesn't have to do any work to make sure things are balanced and correct and keeping things stable. In fact, all they have to do is make sure they don't accidentally contribute to something that's productive and stable. As long as they don't accidentally contribute to it, then whatever they're doing is fine, while the rest of us have to do extra work to do the right thing. So just by making it even, they've tilted it towards the right. Not like, I don't mean by making it even, but not having a TOS that promotes productive information dissemination, truth. In other words, correspondence theory of truth. That's an apple. I see it. It's an apple. It's not an orange. Don't go out and say it's an orange. It's that simple. Just have your TOS promote that. No, we can't do that. That's political. It's political because the truth is a convenience, I guess. Everybody knows what's happened with 4chan. Everybody knows where Twitter's going. Everybody knows what the lowest common denominator looks like. Everybody knows what the trash among us sound like. Nobody wants that. And that's what billionaire accelerationists want. They want 4chan for everybody. That way, the productive, balanced, stable voices will just be drowned amongst the noise of racism, sexism, everything that you can think of that's terrible. That will be the norm. We have to get control over the rich, okay? I'll tell you exactly what we have to do. We have to go to Elon Musk and we have to take all his shit. Just take it. Nationalize it. We should go, we subsidized him. That's why he has so much. And just take it. Nationalize it. Make an example out of the guy. That's what we need to do. First of all, European Union will start doing the right thing. Probably 2025, they'll start blocking Elon's companies, and Elon Musk will go to Russia and China. And he's not loyal to anybody. He's loyal to money. And I say good riddance. But what we see cyber cars, invading Taiwan. So we'll see Cybertrucks with guns invading Taiwan, right? All electric invasion force. And because he's doing this so unapologetically with no respect for anybody, our institutions, so he needs to be made an example of. He's the only one with the loud... there's other people behind the scenes doing things, but he's like the problem child. They're probably like, chill out, quiet, But he just keeps going. And so we should take his shit. Take it. Just take all of it. And seriously, let them know that they're not above the law. The U.S. over the next 4 years is obviously going to do nothing but get worse. Nothing is going to be regulated. In fact, the opposite is true. There's going to be accelerationist policies and medical cut for people, and poor people are going to be kicked out onto the street. And there's going to be posturing and potential civil war chatter and secession and all kinds of nonsense. And some of it may come to fruition. Nobody knows. But the EU can make things better for themselves, and I have a feeling that they'll be the adult in the room. And the EU is really the last adult in the room. So please, you guys, stand up to these idiots. The US basically got blasted by 100 million apathetic people who didn't vote, allowed 77 million extremists to win. So all you apathetic voters, it's literally your fault, okay? It's your fault that the leader of the free world looks like such a fool right now. All we can do to fix these problems is regulate billionaires and regulate social media. Aim it in the right direction. And that's going to mean destroying things like Fox News. We shouldn't have let it go on this long, honestly. And it's going to mean regulating accelerationist attitudes by rich people. Even business owners, your everyday business owner is leaning too far into the accelerationist billionaire mentality that they're somehow more special than other people. You aren't. I don't care how hard you work. We all have universal rights. It doesn't matter how hard you work. You don't get to qualify that for somebody else. That's the ethics of the thing that we can't forget. We have to always remember it never goes away. Musk is out there trying to pretend like he somehow ended liberalism. He's a complete idiot, a complete moron. The notion of universality and empathy and working together for a stable common goal will always be a thing among the multitude. What's happening right now is temporary. And when it's gone, it'll be back to the way it is over time, stable and together. And it's right now, accelerationists are having their day because we're getting blindsided by the growth of AI and social media and its effect on non-critical thinkers. So regulation has to catch up. But if regulation doesn't catch up fast enough, then we may be set back to the point of having to rebuild democracy again. And I don't know, maybe in some sense that's a good thing because we have to build it stronger, more flexible, but yet still with the same power, but not so that one single person can take it over. We have to maintain all those things, maintain the strength, retain flexibility, and ensure that no single person can use the executive power to just basically what's happening right now, a hostile takeover in the United States. That shouldn't be able to happen. There's all kinds of punishments that should be happening right now that aren't. Because we had a life, we had 200 years of trust, good faith for the most part. And that's all gone. There's no trust. Now it's just war. And politics is there to keep war from breaking out. That's why we talk about it. But if we can't keep that agreement, then war will break out. Because the talking is, the balancing act is what keeps it from breaking out. So I just wanted to talk about that very quickly and that we got to do something about social media and its regulation that has to happen. And just because everybody's even on the platforms doesn't mean they're truly even, because it's easier to destroy and lie and dis and misinformation, spread that all around than it is to maintain something stable and be responsible. So just by limiting the rules, you've already handed the game over to the liars and the cheaters and the accelerationists. The TOSs have to reflect what's going to be productive for society as a whole. Even the children who want to see it burn still cannot be the voice that takes over the top and makes it unstable for the rest of us. Let them burn in a stable atmosphere. Let them go skydiving or whatever nonsense it is they have to do to make themselves feel better, while the rest of us have stability and are able to raise our families and teach them the right thing to do. If you guys like this kind of philosophical subject matter, or it's actually this is half philosophy, half trend following, which is what I'm trying to do. I want to build the center between trends that are modern trends and philosophy too. So that's what I'm going to try to do, the niche that I'm going to try to make, somewhere between trends and philosophy, and try to provide value like that. So it's not just me running my mouth like some of these YouTubers are so boring, but they get so many views. It blows my mind. I want to add some kind of value. I don't want to take the easy way out. I want to add some kind of value ethically to these situations. If you guys like this kind of trending, philosophical blending, helps out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.